So the situation is with my wife. It's I've been dealing with like recovering from shoulders surgery, and I kind of feel like there has been quite a bit of pain. Obviously, after like the surgery and like during the early process of it, and I kind of feel like I'm by just like letting out the way I feel, it's like loading her with all these thoughts, right? Like with all this, like not being able to do a lot of different things. And that's kind of being like too much for her. And I noticed that. So I've been doing the work on those different things to like not let it out as much. So I don't do that. So she doesn't feel like pressure or any more things in there. But I still notice like that my thoughts come if like if she gets overloaded with with all those things or like complaining and things like that, like that she shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling, because that's going to trigger that again, and like it's going to be like a endless cycle pretty much. That's the way I feel.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
kind of like the thought that I'm having is like she shouldn't be asking me how I feel
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, it's a good one. I get it in that particular situation. It makes sense. Yeah. So, is that true? She shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling.
Yep.
And can you absolutely know it's true? She shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling.
Hmm. Nope.
So, how do you react? What happens when you think that she should not be asking you how she's feeling when she's already overloaded and can't handle it?
I feel frustrated. It's like I start judging her in my mind. Like I start playing around with like the different scenarios, or like going back to the things that I said that trigger her, like to say something back and things like that. So I feel kind of like trapped. Like it's bad if I say something, and then it's bad if I don't say anything. So I feel like trapped in a hole, like no way out. And then I kind of feel alone in a way, because then at the same time it's like, of course I'm with this pain and like feeling the way I feel, and like I can say it out loud or anything, or like I can express my emotions, or I can feel the way I feel, kind of like limited I feel. And then a lot of thoughts start coming up, like with related to my wife, like am I doing the right thing? Like, should I just not care about it and just like say it, or should I not care about her and just think about me and saying it anyway? So there's a lot of contradictions going on. And it's like, yeah, and I feel stuck. Like part of me wants to just go like shut down and try to not say anything to not trigger that, but then part of me is also saying like, why should not you allow to feel the way you feel and say it if you just feel like it? So and I feel like in this wobbling left and right, like should I not, should I, hesitating to do it, like overthinking and not feeling like I can just be, or I can just say out loud the way I feel, or if I'm in pain or something like that, just freely say it. So I feel like stuck in there.
Okay. Yeah, very clear. So, who would you be without the thought that she shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling?
I think I can just be me. Hmm. To me, it's like it doesn't actually play a part if she asks or not. It's like, regardless of that, I would just feel the same, even if she doesn't do it or if she does do it. And I can just allow myself to feel the way I feel and scream if I have to from one time to time for myself.
Hmm.
Yeah, and not like overthink about that. Just not feeling like it's kind of weird. I feel like if I'm sick, I have to scream and make sure everybody knows that I'm sick and like keep repeating it so everybody it's kind of like aware. It's like, wait, you're forgetting that I'm sick, right? So I have to remember again, like I have to remind you again that I'm sick. So that's kind of what's playing in my mind. That's weird.
That
So
is
then
interesting.
it's like I could just be feeling any pain that I feel or whatever the case may be, but not having that need of just like screaming out that I'm in pain or keep reminding anyone that I'm sick because everybody knows and I'm the only one who feels it anyway. So it's even okay if she doesn't ask for it or she doesn't feel that I'm in pain or if she forgets or whatever. That's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Going back to question 3 for a second, whose business are you in when you think she shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling?
Totally in her business.
Yeah.
Completely there. Yeah. I even forget about the pain and like everything that I'm going through and just focus on her asking me about it or not asking me about it or trying to make her notice. So,
Yeah. And then the mind gets so busy because it's trying to figure out what should I do, what shouldn't I do, like all
mm,
s- very yeah, that's almost like a symptom of being in someone else's business. Then the mind has to get so busy because you don't know what to do. There.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
So
doesn't
again, if
land
you're
anywhere.
what's that?
It doesn't land anywhere. It's like, oh, I got it here. If I just say something once, then it'll be over, but it's not. And then it just goes crazy because there's no solution at
That,
all.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So going back to who would you be without the thought that she shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling? What would that be like if you didn't think that?
Yeah, it's like I can just be there with or without my pain. I can just be there. And it's almost like if it's irrelevant if she asks or not, in a way.
Where does your attention go when you're not thinking about, that she shouldn't be asking you how you're feeling? If you're not thinking about whether she's overloaded or not, where does your attention go?
It just goes back 100% to me and what I can do to feel better and like doing the exercises that I need to do. And yeah, everything is related to me, the injury, and how to get better. It's like nobody else in the picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gets simpler. Yeah.
Yeah.
So turn it around. She shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling when she's getting overloaded already.
She should be asking me how I feel, how I'm feeling.
Okay. How could that be as true? Why
Well,
should
it's
she?
obvious, but she's my wife, so she's worried about me anyways.
Yep. Natural.
So it,
Mm-hmm.
it should be. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. And then because she cares also, she might be, oh, that's interesting. Even when she gets overloaded, she still cares and she's willing to get a little bit more overloaded by asking too.
Wow.
Hmm,
That's a lot of caring.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she should be asking me how I'm feeling. Any other example for you why that could be true?
Because that makes me feel like I'm being heard as well. So that's good for me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And how is it good if she asks you how you're feeling and she hears it and then gets like some reaction because she's already overloaded, but she has some reaction maybe that you don't want to have? How is that? How could that even be a good thing um, for her or for you?
Because that will make us notice what's going on. Like, maybe you're going too far, or you're like worrying too much, or you're complaining too much in my case.
Right, right.
Oh,
So her asking just opens the door for looking at the situation, and maybe it shows her getting overly caught in her thinking or in her reaction or being overloaded. Or it might show that you're getting overly caught up in the pain and getting overly reactive about that. So
yeah.
her asking is just bringing awareness to the situation. Yeah, not a
Yeah,
bad
and it's
thing.
interesting because every time that happened, I kind of like feel more pain in a weird way. It's like because the focus goes there and it's like all this thing, and then I started feeling more pain. But when I'm not thinking about it, then it's like it just slows down and I'm feeling better. So
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Hmm.
Okay, so is there another turnaround? She shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling.
Or I shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling.
Okay,
That's
can we make any
that's
sense of that? I don't know.
oh yeah, a lot.
Okay, what do you see?
Well, I'm all the time looking at it like, do I feel a little bit better? So that's asking to myself every day. It's like, oh, can I move my arm a little bit more today? Is it hurting a little bit less? How am I doing? So,
Right. Like you're
hmm,
asking yourself too much. How are you feeling? Yeah.
right. Oh my God. That reminds me of my son. He's like asking every 2 seconds, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? And of course it's not. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Right. It takes what, 6 or 8 weeks to heal from surgery and then, or longer, who knows? Is it done
Right.
yet? Are we there yet?
And I'm checking every 5 minutes to see if I feel better already.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So then, of course, if your wife asks about how are you doing, there's like, you are already asking so many times. It's too
Right.
much. It's yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And plus, if you're always asking how much, like, how is it? How am I feeling? Then there can be frustration, and when she asks, then you give that frustration, and then that makes her overloaded even more. So,
Right.
yeah,
That's exactly what happens because I answered that question so many times that when she asks one more time, then it's like, ah,
yeah,
of course it's not good.
yeah.
So,
So this gives you something really concrete to do to reduce the overload for her, and this frustration for you is just a little bit less paying attention to the healing process and its slow pace and checking how am I feeling, how am I feeling. If you do a little bit
yeah.
of that less, then it can be less of a reaction when she asks you. Like it might be the first time. She's like, you haven't asked yourself for many hours, and then she asks, how are you feeling? And then, oh, good question. Haven't thought about that. and
Right.
it's different than, I've answered that question 100 times already in the last hour. Rah!
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Right.
That's a cool turnaround. I was not sure where that would go, but it makes a lot of sense. I shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling. Not that much. I shouldn't be asking myself that much. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes 100% sense to me.
Hmm.
And because that's exactly what I'm doing. Like just like checking on it. Are you better now? Are you better now?
Yeah. So, just on a practical level, kind of living turnaround level, what are some things you can do that will help you from checking on your how you're feeling all the time? What are alternative places you can put your attention? What other things can you be focusing on than just on the healing of your surgery?
Well, I can focus on the rest of the things. In fact, that will get me less busy if I have to keep checking every 2 minutes if I'm doing better or not. I can just focus on the rest of the things I can do. I have my schedule for like the exercises that I need to do. So I can focus on doing those and then just forget about if they're working or not. The doctor will check up on that later on and will let me know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I can totally shift my focus to the rest of the things I can do for now, which are not a lot. So,
And
so
and what about other things that you can do not related to your surgery, not related to your health or in your recovery at all? Just what other things in your life can you focus on?
well, I can spend some time with my family. That's something I can do. No problem. I can even do a little bit of exercise not related to the shoulder at all.
Mhm.
It's just like going to the bike a little bit and or just for a walk. That could help too. And I can keep on reading some books that I have pending, like that are like on the waiting list for me to have time to read them. So if I have those minutes that I'm not using
Yeah, you can
thinking
get a
about
lot
it,
of
I
reading
can do
done
it.
in that in that time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. So this is just ideas, but you may find even more that can keep you so busy and interested that it's like not necessary to keep checking on how you're feeling all the time, and let that take care of itself. You know it's a long process, and the doctors are also monitoring, and then yeah, just like attention can go in other directions.
And
So this is a cool
and
turnaround.
ask
And
and
it also
ask
helps
your
with,
wife how she's
so,
feeling.
aha, so
Right.
that's another
A
turnaround,
good one.
actually, right? If you think about it, like
Yeah,
I should be asking her how she's feeling. That's a good one.
that's a really good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that might, we don't even have to explain that one because it's so simple, but it's just, that's something to keep in mind. Like, how are you feeling? Are you, I know there's a lot going on. Just how are you feeling? Open ended question.
Hmm.
And it's not in her business either because you're just asking and then listening.
Right. Really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other turnaround? She shouldn't be asking me how I'm feeling. I think that might be it. We could say I shouldn't be
Perhaps.
asking her how she's feeling. It's kind of the opposite of what we just were talking about, but um, there could be truth on that side too. Do you see anything that pops out?
Well, yeah, because she's trying not to worry me anymore, so she would just not reply with like 100% truth saying that, but just to protect me from not getting overloaded myself, which can happen easily too.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So she could be just like you, like she doesn't want you to get overloaded, so she's not going to tell you
mm,
everything. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
especially now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even though, yeah, it's interesting. Even though asking how each other is feeling can be seen as a good thing, it can also be times when it's nice not to do that, just to give the person a break, and you kind of know where it's going to go anyway, and they're not it might be too much, and that can be
Right.
kind. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, this has been fun playing with this and just looking at all different angles of this, and who knows what more can be discovered, but I think it's a really interesting inquiry. Thank you.
Thank you. Really cool information.
Definitely.